Right after you finish a painting, do you ever step back and wonder, what next? Well, you're not alone. Let's paint a realistic watercolor portrait of a young man playing piano while we chat about how to start before you know how. In the art world, we put a lot of value on coming up with an original idea and creating an artwork that is so unique it stands out. While it is special to create something original, I feel like we as artists wait around for this originality before starting a new painting, expecting it to magically come to us all at once in one magical moment of clarity. More often than not, though, we are simply left waiting and our paper remains blank. Something I've discovered lately is the power of creating something in parts. Oftentimes, we don't start a new artwork until we have a complete vision in our minds of what we want to create. But what if you didn't have to figure out what you wanted to create before you started? What if you just started before you knew how and let yourself figure it out? For this watercolor painting, I initially wasn't really sure what I wanted to paint. Something that helps me when I'm stuck is to look at my previous artworks and see what aspects I like about them, and try and repeat those aspects with a new twist. I really like this previous artwork of mine, so I chose to repeat the musical theme of it and paint another musician. Let your painting process guide you. I started painting this piece on the floor because I was away from home. As I was painting in the shirt, I was like, wait, what if I put music notes on this painting as well, like I did in my previous artwork? However, I forgot my special skinny tape at home, so I just continued painting. Later, when I got home, before I started putting the tape on, I tested out different designs in Photoshop, chose which one I liked best, and began taping. In my previous artwork, I put the tape on my paper first and then started painting, but with this piece, I did the opposite by starting to paint first and then taping. This unintentional change in my painting process actually made me realize how the color of the green tape really throws you off at the start when you're starting to paint and it's all you have on the blank paper. Having something already painted in helps you better visually establish the color palette of your painting and keep you from getting confused because of the bright green tape throughout your painting process. Every painting process is like its own journey. Try painting a little, then taking a step back and reflecting. Paint a little more, then see how you would like to continue. Let yourself come along for the ride, because who knows where it could take you. If you look at my previous artwork, the girl playing cello is facing to the right. In my reference photo, the man playing piano is facing to the right too, but I flipped my reference photo in Photoshop so that he is now facing to the left. I did this with the thought that if I were to hang these two pieces together, they would be facing each other. Recently, I started to put importance on thinking about how and where I would want my painting to be hanging while I am still in the process of painting it. I usually find my reference photos on Pinterest because you can use the search tool to find whatever it is you are looking for. I really like the warm color palette and the abundance of interesting shadows on this man's clothes and face. I think shadows really add depth to a painting, so when choosing a reference photo, I always keep an eye out for photographs with a wide variety of shadows. I'll leave a link in the description to both this reference photo and my Pinterest page, where I've collected other reference photos in a similar style that you might like. I am using a unique paper for this piece called Yupo paper, which I have grown to really love. Yupo paper is a smooth paper with a waxy finish. I really like the look of watercolors on this paper, and also how it pushes me to be more loose and free with my strokes, because when painting on Yupo paper, it's harder to control the end results due to the challenges that the paper's texture brings. Why do you want to create? There are moments throughout our art journeys where we simply start to lose sight of why we want to create in the first place. Are you creating to please others because you enjoy it or because you want to be the best at it? It's important to look into yourself and make sure you subconsciously have the right motivations for wanting to come up with an idea to create. Because who wants to do something when they are forced to do it? Your subconscious is the same. I think the power and role our subconscious plays in our art process is often overlooked. That is why I think it's important that we give our minds the space to think. I go more in depth about this in this video, which I will link for you in the description below. Something else that helps me when I don't know what to paint is to be in the moment and keep an open mind. After all, an idea can come from anywhere at any time. The question is, do you really want to know what to paint? If you're experiencing a really long artist's block, it's possible that you're unknowingly avoiding anything that has to do with painting in the first place. I found that often the root cause of art blocks or any block is fear. Fear that any idea you come up with will not be good enough, or fear that getting an art idea means that it's actually time to jump in and start painting. If you really are stuck, changing your surroundings by going outside and exploring can really help you relax and gain a new perspective. You can find beauty everywhere, even in unexpected places. Recently, I took a really nice trip to Philly. I got to see the Liberty Bell, and I was lucky because I got there right before closing time, so there weren't that many people. And the architecture in the old city of Philadelphia is so pretty. Who would ever guess that this was in Philadelphia? As I was walking home from the train, I walked through a park and came across this beautiful fairy house someone made on the side of the trail. It was so unexpected that at first I almost passed it by, but I'm happy I noticed it at the last moment. The amount of thought and detail that went into this house makes it a really special work of art. I think it's worthwhile to remind yourself every now and then of where you started and how far you've come in your art journey. Often, in the rush of growing and striving to be better, we forget that now we are achieving what our dream was when we started. I started both my art journey and this YouTube channel a bit over 2.5 years ago. Back then, I drew only in my sketchbook because I couldn't dream of trying to commit to a large painting. It's hard to believe sometimes that the community here on this channel has grown to thousands of people, and I'm so grateful for every single one of you and for all of your kind comments. Thank you for coming along with me on this journey. Something I've learned throughout these past several years is that sometimes it's better to dwell less on your emotions and to take more action instead. Just do. A lot of times we live our lives with our emotions at the steering wheel. While being in touch with your feelings is a good thing and healthy, I found that if you're not careful, you can end up with your day steered on a whim from the ups and downs of your emotions. Depending on your emotions at all times can be an unstable ride because they are constantly changing. If you have a plan to create art in your day, and when the time comes you don't feel like it, try sitting down and starting anyway. Follow through with your plan and get it done as best as you can. You don't need perfection. Usually, you'll find that once you get past the initial challenge of picking up the paintbrush and laying down the first stroke, everything gets easier and you realize that you forgot how much you actually enjoy creating. Painting isn't mandatory. At the end of the day, you create art because you love to create, not because you need to impress anyone or turn in an art assignment. What is something you want to create, not something you need to create? You'd be surprised at how many answers you can come up with to this question by simply changing the wording. If you have no idea what to paint, just try rolling with nothing. As the famous saying goes, life is like a roller coaster. You can either scream every time there's a bump, or you can throw your hands up and enjoy the ride. See where it takes you, because who knows, it might be better than you expected. If anything in this video was helpful or speaks to you, please leave a like and share your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you for watching.